Hello there guys, welcome back to the Drowsy Dragon. Today let's talk about some tips to help you crush your Horrific Vision runs. The Horrific Vision Revisited system is slightly different than what we had initially with the original Horrific Visions, but there's two different things this time with the Horrific Visions 2 Electric Boogaloo Deja Vu edition, so let's talk about what those are. What you'll notice first of all is that you now have Soridormi in your runs, if you want to. I do recommend using her to help you. What's nice about this is you do have the option to have her as a tank, healer or DPS. Most people are probably going to default to DPS. She does do some pretty respectable damage for an NPC companion, and there actually appears to be no downside in using her. I did think that we would potentially get less mementos from doing runs with her active, or potentially even not be able to get achievements for doing the runs on solo, but nope, it appears you can, so make use of Soridormi. Unless you hate NPCs. Out of all of my runs on the PTR, Soridormi did not do anything at all in terms of wrecking my runs, like pulling mobs I wasn't ready for, or, causing some dodgy mechanic. She was a pretty good NPC, unlike Bran can be sometimes. So tip number one is make use of Soridormi. The tank and DPS options do both give you a 5% attack power buff for 1 hour, and the healing version of Soridormi gives you a stamina buff, so take whichever one benefits you the most. The second tip is to buff up, so you can absolutely use potions, flasks, food buffs, whatever you want to inside the Horrific Vision runs, so make the most of it. They aren't required, but if you want the extra edge, it's an option you've got on the table. You do get some stacking buffs over time too for completing objectives in both Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Now these are also something new this time around, so you get these tributes which you have to empower. You can see them lying around in the room before you start your Horrific Vision run, and there's 4 of them. So you've got Elite Extermination. This will give you sanity back when you kill elites. This used to be one of the old talents, it might sound familiar. You've also got Vision Hunter. This gives you a 2% movement speed and haste buff when killing any enemy, stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 60 seconds. So realistically, you can stack this buff to 10% and keep it up for your entire run. Third is Clear Sight, so this allows you eventually to see potions and chests in the trickier areas, the lost areas, so basically you've got more available to you. And the last one is Experimental Destabilization, so basically means you deal more damage. Simple as that. These buffs, tributes, do appear to have 3 different ranks, so initially they are not active. When you make them active, they can level up 3 different times, so the buff just gets stronger as you go. So if you are struggling, just know that even if you do get failed runs, you are still working towards empowering these buffs, making your time in the future easier. Tip number 3, make use of the potions lying around. Now either get a potion weak aura from Wago, or just pay attention to the indication of the bad potion. Now in Stormwind, it's the dead guy on the first straight section, you can see him here. The potion lying next to him is the bad one for that run, and this will change colour every time you do a different run, so you need to check this each time. In Orgrimmar, it's the guy in the building next to the bank. Same rules apply, so find out which potion is bad and just do not drink that because that will make you lose 100 sanity, and basically chug all the rest. One of them will give you 100 sanity back, which is lovely, and there's also some other buffs you can get as well, which stack. You can see what those are here, so remember to refresh the buff often, as when they expire there's usually a negative effect, which you can see also on the tooltips. So just chug all the good potions, especially the sanity restore one, and stay clear of the bad one. The buff durations do stack up, so you can eventually get the buff to last longer than your run is going to be, and at that point you don't need to keep refreshing it, just save you time. Tip number 4 is plan your route. So knowing where to go and what to kill, which objective to complete, will save you tons of time. Then you can focus on locking down your runs to be super efficient when you start to memorize the route. I do have a video showing the full Orgrimmar route from 5 years ago. The route is pretty much still the same. I will link that in the description down below and put it in the pinned comment. I don't have one for Stormwind, but that's something that I may create, or you could alternatively check out another creator. Bit of a bonus tip on this one is just to keep it simple. Focus on getting down the route that you follow and what NPCs to kill at what time, which ones are the really nasty ones and what mechanics to look out for, to the point where it becomes like muscle memory doing these runs. There are still things that can distract you, such as the interactable objects like the mailboxes, the NPCs that sometimes spawn that you can kill for buffs, the odd crystals that you can collect and turn into an ethereal NPC for more currency. There's all these things, but realistically, you don't need to do any of those to get your run complete and get all the other rewards. The only priority here that I would work on over time is the buff NPCs, as when you've unlocked all the masks eventually and are trying to get an 8 mask run completed, the buffs you can get from these guys will be a decent help. But for starters, Just worry about getting the vision completed. Don't worry about all these extra things. The next tip is to focus on increasing your sanity and reducing sanity loss first with your upgrades. That one's a bit of a mouthful. So you will get all these buffs over time anyway. The way this works is really simple. As you complete horrific visions, you will get displaced corrupted mementos. You can use those to buy upgrades using the hourglass of horrific visions and just basically work your way through the tree. I would always recommend going for the Steeled Mind upgrade first. This gives you a stacking percentage decrease to the amount of sanity lost over time during the visions, but then get Expansive Mind as well to boost your overall sanity. Doing more damage is tempting, of course, but it does mean you kill things faster, so there's less mechanics to deal with and other stuff, so that's a close second indeed. Now do remember that you've also got the buffs coming in from the tributes too, so once you've got those powered up and you've got the tree maxed out from the hourglass system, your horrific vision runs are going to feel that much easier. The next tip ties in exactly with this tree. Now this tip is to abuse the Gift of the Titans buff whenever that procs. So you gain access to this when you have maxed out the hourglass tree for the horrific vision buffs. Now this is just a proc that's going to happen at random times. Perhaps the best bit about this buff is that it makes you immune to sanity loss. So you can go absolutely nuts with this buff on. It's a great time to tackle a tricky pack when this is active, or fight a difficult elite or boss. So make sure not to waste precious seconds of this mega buff. By the time you've unlocked Gift of the Titans, you will already have also unlocked the Emergency Cranial Defibrillation. This is one of the talents from the Hourglass tree. Now this basically means you've got sort of a cheat death mechanic on yourself. In the visions, if you lose all your sanity or health, you instantly revive and gain 500 sanity and full health. Now this is only once per vision, but this can absolutely save your ass in a run if you miss some mechanics or, let's just face it, have a brain fart. It happens and it was definitely the game's fault, right? So yeah, do try and do your best in the runs, but remember, if things do go pear-shaped, you've always got the Emergency Cranial Defibrillation to fall back on. And the final tip when it comes to keeping sane is tactically use your Sanity Restoration Orbs. Now, this also ties in with planning your route. You may find that you have a specific point where you're comfortable to use a Sanity Restoration Orb. They are limited, you only get 3 per run, but it does ensure that if used properly, you can go back to full sanity 3 times per run. And you will need these. Even if you're an absolute master and perfect this, it's likely you will still need at least 1 or 2 of these Sanity Orbs per run, especially when tackling these with masks active. So make sure not to waste them. Also remember that when you use them in combat, they will only restore half sanity, so ideally use them outside of combat. It's a good chance when you pop one of these orbs out to take a breather, just recollect yourself, refocus, and just have a little minute. Think about what you're going to do next when the orb fades away, what mob you're going to pull, what direction you're going to go. Use it as a restoration of your actual real life sanity. May as well. Remember, when you kill an elite, the Elite Extermination perk will also restore some sanity too, so ideally, always make sure that it does to get the most out of this, as killing an elite when you're already at max sanity means you don't get any benefit from that perk really. Alright guys, those are the tips from here. There's a lot more you could talk about when it comes to the horrific visions. There's other mounts to get, one of which I've made a guide for recently, link in the description below. But there's a lot that can distract you as well, so if you just want to focus on getting these horrific visions completed, unlocking everything and beginning to do some mass runs, these tips will see you through greatly. I really do hope they helped, and if you did enjoy the video, please do consider leaving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more guides and content for World of Warcraft from me here at the Drowsy Dragon. And do also come and join us on Discord, we're a friendly bunch, we'll help you out with any questions you may have. Thank you very much for watching guys and for stopping by the Drowsy Dragon today. Take care, go and kick N'Zoth's arse in these visions, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers!